Good afternoon, everyone. Not a bunch of music and stuff. At the advice of the audience, we just finished. I was talking to my brother Carlos at 11:19, and it's 12 o'clock already. But for this morning's episode, we dedicated that time to Brother Leroy Peoples, and I wanted to share his last episode in the Java Cafe that took place on February 2nd, 2023. And the reason I want to share the episode is twofold. One, very honestly, to honor him and show the consistency in the fact that he knew those that he served. The other piece is our Black men are dealing with a lot, specifically in the space of mourning. Specifically, there are brothers that were at Brother St. Bryce's service and then also got the news about Bum. And that audience, that population, those brothers are whom I am very concerned, along with just Black men in general, to where this after dark conversation, a little bit of a disclaimer, is a very real, raw conversation of which Brother Leroy Peoples contributed a huge knowledge base and understanding, again, of those whom he served. I will mention that Darnell Singleton is a part of that conversation, and he will be back with us this Sunday night, February 23rd at 9 p.m. for a very, you're going to get a little sample of Brother Darnell in this conversation. But in all seriousness, we are here today. Initially, this was, I wanted to share parts of this conversation from Brother Bum. And then as I watched it and am very aware that a lot of our Black men are dealing with a lot, I thought it was important to hold space while honoring to also, as we've been doing for 4 years and just about 11 months this week, is hold space for our community, specifically Black men. And so this was, I think, our third or fourth conversation with Black men. It's a rebroadcast. So anything that cites time may not be relevant to today. If an incident or a date is named, this is a rebroadcast. And so for those of you that are watching, you will see that banner come up every few seconds. For those that are not aware, And yes, I'm going to go ahead and begin that. I don't know the exact timing of the video, but we will play it in its entirety. I'm going to be honest, I will be watching in the background and not sitting here watching all the comments. But you all's advice, you said come back at noon to share this conversation among Black men. And so this conversation features brother Leroy Bum Peoples Jr., of course, also brother Sean Brown, brother Donnell Singleton, brother Anthony Davis, and Quincy Roberts. And so please join us, and we will be back with you to wrap up the rebroadcast of Black Men. How are you doing? That makes sense for me to take the flyer down. Good evening, everybody. This is James Jimmy Hills. I'm the host of Java with Jimmy. We are here this evening with some good brothers. I'm just going to give you a quick little preview of the brothers that are in the room. You see our brother Anthony, our brother Quincy. We got our brother Sean and our brother Leroy, a.k.a. Bum. I'll go back to me so I can squeeze good old brother D into the shot. Just want to acknowledge our good brother Walk, who is our usual videographer for me. He's not feeling well, so I'm not only hosting, I'm running production as well. So y'all gonna have to bear with me this evening. But we got our brother D over there that we're gonna make sure we get him on camera as well. This little camera thing is all right. So for those of you, and I don't know how you cannot be aware, and I would say between Tyree Nichols and Tyrell Lawrence, the well-being, the life, the getting home, the survival, the growing old of Black men is yet again in the forefront in our nation. And Tip O'Neill used to say that all politics are local. We cannot bring attention to Tyree Nichols and not bring attention to Tyler Lawrence and all of the other Tyler Lawrences here in our city. I just really wanted to check in with Black men from an organic, authentic space to let brothers know that may be feeling some sort of way in these past couple of weeks, all their lives, past 10 years, 40 years, to let you know, one, you're not alone. You're not the only one with that feeling. And so without further ado, I would like to turn this over to my good friend and brother. And again, I'm doing production and hosting. So we are going to turn it over to our good friend, Brother Anthony. And Brother Anthony, what I'm going to ask you to do, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself. And at the end of your introduction, describe how you are in one word, and we'll come back and get the context. You good?
All right, this is my camera. Anthony Davis Jr., how y'all doing? Good evening. I am a 29-year-old community organizer, political organizer, originally from the Washington, D.C. area, but have been up in Boston now since 2018, last 4 or 5 years, going on 5 years now. Excited to be having this conversation with these brothers. And how am I doing right now? In one word, wow. Can I give you two?
You can.
Hanging in there. Hanging in there. I think that's about as best as I could describe how I'm feeling right about now.
And we're going to get context when we come back around. Our brother Quincy.
Hello, Java with Jimmy. This is Quincy J. Roberts Sr. And a little bit about me. I am the inaugural executive director for the mayor's office of LGBTQ plus advancement. But before that, I worked for the city for over a decade in veteran services, fair housing, and the Human Rights Commission. Before that, I was a teacher at Jeremiah E. Burke. And before that, me and my husband, we ran a nonprofit called the Hispanic Black Gay Coalition. So I've done a lot in Boston in the last 18 years. So I consider myself a Bostonian, and I'm the token gay guy on the panel.
Hold on, don't say that. Hold on. And so I'm going to ask you, hold on, because
in that one word,
the one word to describe how you, and Quincy got notes, y'all. This is going to be interesting. He got a notebook.
You know me, I'm a lifelong student, but I would say the one word is disappointed.
Disappointed. And just because of aesthetics, can you go with Brother Bum? Because I can get him on the camera before I can get Brother D. All right.
Where am I going after?
Brother Leroy.
Brother Leroy Peoples Jr., just a Black man trying to do the right thing in our community to help our young people out. In one word, I'm dedicated.
You got to give us just a little bit more than that, brother Leroy.
You said one word.
No, I mean as far as the introduction.
I'm just a black man in our community in the city of Boston. I've been putting in work for a long time. I'm not representing any organization right now. I'm a black man in the community, very concerned black man, and trying to lend my skill set to just help out. You know what I mean? I'm trying not to work in silos. I'm trying to be a part of the solution. You know what I mean?
And tell me your one word again.
Dedicated.
Dedicated. Okay. Our brother Sean.
Appreciate you, King. Thank you, Sean Brown. First and foremost, I am a man of God. I am a husband to a beautiful wife of 31 years, Shanda Brown, and I am a father of 3 amazing children, and Sean Jr., who is, works in the Boston Public Schools. My middle son, Shandon, is 23 years old, Division I basketball player who graduated last year with his degree, his business degree, and now is pursuing his master's this year as well. And then my youngest is our beautiful daughter, Sinai Brown, who is 18 and is a freshman at Howard University. So that's who I am from on a personal standpoint. From a professional standpoint, I am the executive director of Youth Guidance Boston, where I oversee our 2 school-based counseling programs, and BAM, Becoming a Man and Working on Womanhood.
And your one word, how are you feeling?
Tired.
Absolutely. Our brother D.
Peace and blessings, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. I am Brother Darnell, aka Brother D. I wear a couple of hats. First and foremost, absolute positive. I'm a beef back because I don't eat pork. On what my brother Sean said, I'm a man of God. I'm a lover of God. I'm a man who's in fear of God. So I try my best to put a good foot forward every day. And that's an attempt, because none is righteous except the Most High. I have 3 fabulous sons. My oldest son is in the Navy now in San Diego. He graduated from Alabama A&M. He is now married, and I'm about to have my first grandson.
Yes, sir.
And no granddaughter, but I'm rooting for a boy, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. Right? I have a 21-year-old son who's brilliant. Takari, but he chose to go left a little bit. In real talk, he's doing 18 months in a day for a gun possession. And I think that's important to state, because often at times we forget, man, that you can do everything you can do, man, and they might not listen. And you just got to give them an opportunity to come back home. And then lastly, man, I have a 5-year-old, young Elisha, who's here sitting over there tonight. And hey, man, listen, that's my hero. That's real talk. My 5-year-old son is my role model and my hero, because every day he wakes up, he wants to learn more. Every day he wants to be more independent. Every day he just wants to love and be loved. And if that ain't what a role model should be, then I don't know what it is. And I'm also the owner of Food for the Soul, which is a soulful restaurant, Uptown Grove Hall, where you can get
Uptown
all of your
Grove Hall. Okay,
halal meals.
Okay.
And,
Uptown Grove Hall.
Yes, Uptown Grove Hall. And I also have a publishing company, Original Publishing. In the last 6 years, we have published 37 books written by children. And that's our way of attempting to attack the literacy gap here in the city of Boston. And other than that, man, my one word, real. I'm going to turn it back and switch it up a little bit. If you could give it to brother Leroy, and don't mind if I slip tonight and say bum. But
You
you
do that
said
all the time. I'm used to it now.
all right. I know. I'm sorry. So you said dedicated. Give me the context in why we're here. Tyree to Tyrell, or Tyler. And when you say dedicated, give me some context from you as a black man, why you said dedicated as your word for how you're feeling.
Because you can't give up. And if you're not dedicated, then you're gonna give up. Like there's gonna be some obstacles. There's gonna be some hard times. There's gonna be times where you feel like you're burnt out. But this work is for the strong. So if you're not dedicated is the word, because it's real. It's true. Like you're not. It's not gonna always go your way. It's not gonna always be pretty and sweet. You're not gonna always have success stories. Like everyone's not gonna win. That's just the true nature of the work that we're in. We're gonna lose some people. And knowing that, you have to be dedicated to accept that when it happens. So when I say dedicated, I mean I'm dedicated to the cause and the consequences and the results of what happens when you're in this work.
Do you believe that we as Black men, in general, I won't confine it to local or national,
Yeah.
Black men in general, do you believe we're dedicated?
Not enough.
Okay. Why?
I would say that. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, my answer to that is, I mean, you have to care. And I'm not saying that Black men don't care, but I don't feel like we're dedicated enough, right?
Yep.
We don't need you to be dedicated 24 hours. Even if you gave 3 hours or 4 hours and we got enough people to make it 24 hours, it will still work. We're not saying burn yourself out and go crazy, but we need a little bit of your time, right? Like you can donate an hour to just talk to a young person, right? You don't have to know them to just talk to them. Just be present. We just need you to show up. I don't think enough of us show up.
Pass it to Brother Sean. Brother Sean, I asked Leroy about dedicated. Remind me of your word again.
Tired.
So interesting. Dedicated and tired. Can you correlate
Balance.
why you said balance? Absolutely. Can you correlate why you said tired in the context of being a Black man? The work that you do, you're a dad, you work in this to prevent this stuff. You've been in this from going back to Diamond Educators, way back. I'm not going to let Sean be here this evening without. Let me see if I can do it. If you all follow Sean.
Very photogenic. Yes, you're right.
That's
Hold on. Let me do it. Nah, but we got to definitely be intentional about some Black joy this evening. But you said tired.
Yeah.
Tell me why, and then compare and contrast that based on what Bum said about dedication.
I say, like for me, I really enjoy this space and opportunity to be with these kings. But I'm tired that we continue to be in this space for conversations like this. I'm tired of having the same conversations with my son after situations like this. I'm tired of having the same conversation with our young kings who are part of our program. I'm tired of, every time there's an opportunity, not an opportunity, but there's a murder of a black man. This is what we have to do. We have to come together and talk about what can we do? How can we be better? I'm tired of Black men killing Black men, and the narrative that society, puts on us as Black men. For an example, I'll just share in terms of recent conversation I've had to have with both of my sons. I spoke about, having two boys, Sean Jr. and Shandon, and having to have the conversations with them when they're driving my car because it's registered, and if they get pulled over, what is the conversation that can be had with cops around that? So having them understand, so license to carry, your place get ran, you get run. That's a risk for my kids that is a fear me and my wife have to worry about. That is something that keeps my wife up every night around anxiety when my son is taking my car when he's back home from college, and things of that nature. Those are real conversations that we have to have. What do you do in this situation? I've had situations where my sons have been pulled over and asked, where are they from? And when they give where they're from in their home, the question is still asked, no, where are you from? Insinuating that they're from a certain block, neighborhood, or anything. So for me, I'm tired of having those conversations with my son. Those are the same conversations that, we have, or our youth specialists, and I'm speaking from a work standpoint, have to create that safe space for our young men to have these conversations who are tired and hurting, who are fearful for their lives and things of that nature. So for me, that's what the tiredness comes from for me.
Absolutely. Brother D, we're pretty good with the production, so we can kind of go back. I think we can go back around. So Brother D, tell me your word again.
Real.
Somebody, okay, Brother Bum. So why do you say real? Is it real? Do we have to be real? Do we have to be real dedicated? Is it real that we're tired? Why real?
There's no space nor time to be fake and or to be phony, to sell false hope, and to misguide our youth, right? So you have to be real, because when you're real, you find yourself dedicated, hands down. And when you're dedicated, you find yourself tired. You understand?
Yes, sir.
When we're sitting here And we got a bunch of brothers and everyone came in. Peace, King. Love you, black man. That's damn near taboo in our community. But we changing it.
Yes, sir.
We changing it every day, right? Yo, why'd everybody call you Brother Darnell? What they call you that for? Because I'm a child of God. So everybody's a brother to me and everyone's a sister to me, right? This is real. I find it very difficult, if you will, to say brother and then something derogatory, sister, then something derogatory. So there's a method to the madness all the time. If we're real, then what we understand is right now, we've been hit with some things that we're not prepared for. But as I was expressing to Brother Leroy earlier, no one thought that we would ever have to figure out what to do with the 11 to 14-year-olds.
Yep.
There's a gap in programming. There's a gap in services. There's a gap in everything for this population. Why? Because we never thought there would be a need. From 11 to 14, you're at home. You're in school. You're going to Camp Wing, Duxbury Stockade Summer Camp. You're on a Pop Warner football team. You're playing BNBL or AAU or whatever the case may be. What you're not is off the porch in the streets. But now guess what's real? We got to figure out something for our babies. What else is real? What also is real is that you asked a question in terms of, I can't say it verbatim, but do we care as black men? So here's what I'll say first and foremost. We absolutely care. Absolutely. But like my brother said, not enough of us. We'd rather debate who's the GOAT, Michael Jordan or LeBron James, right? Yep. Than, for example, here in the city of Boston, and to go over to Brother Minister Randy Muhammad with his 10,000 Fearless, which consists of Muslims, Christians, brothers with no faith in terms of organized religion, if you will, to march around the streets. But usually he got 25, maybe 30 brothers, where he should have 200 or 300. You understand that we can disperse to different locations in the city and bring forth peace. If you want to talk about real, we don't have to reinvent any wheels. Only thing we got to do is be real and help some of the brothers who are out here saying, hey, yo, I'm right here. Come help me, help our community. If we want to be real, if we want to be dedicated. And then sooner or later, we could stop being tired. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And lastly, I'll say this, and I ain't gonna hog the mic. I got that preacher tongue.
Preacher.
You understand?
The preacher.
Yeah. And so the last thing I'll say is this: if we also want to be real, and no one wants to have this conversation, but I'm gonna have it. The parents in our community, you cannot act as if Christina or Jeffrey is an angel when you know they are terror. And then if something happens, oh, my baby. Knowing your baby got 5 straps in the crib, or knowing your baby is out there selling drugs and you ain't mad at it because that's how you get in your red bottoms. Let's be real with it. All right. Knowing that you are in a situation of poverty, your son's outside off the porch, he's bringing that money in and you cool with it. Let's be real with it. Am I saying that is what's going on all throughout the community in every situation? Hell no. But I know one thing, we as parents have to bear witness. When your son and or your daughter is involved in something, don't get on the news, don't get on Facebook saying, woe is me. Because there was a problem before the painful situation happened. And we got to deal with that because that's real. And I've been doing this work for over 20 years. Right? When at Street Safe, when Diamond Educators was there with us, Bum was right there with us. And now 20 years, we're dealing with generations of it. Right? We've gone from the father to the son, actually grandfather, father, son. So we know, Chris ain't all clean. I didn't know. Right? So let's be real about some things. That's all. Let's just be real. Dedicated, and hopefully we can stop being tired.
Love it. Love it.
We're getting ready to go to Brother Quincy. Hold on so I can get you in the shot, Brother Quincy, and get it done right. Okay, here we go. Brother Quincy, remind me of your word again.
Disappointed.
So give me the context of why you said disappointed in reference, and you don't have to tie them all in.
Oh, no,
any points?
But no. I'm a Southern Baptist preacher as well, but I can't follow Brother Darnell. But disappointment, and this goes to the private conversation we had about me coming here.
Yes.
Tired. Just tired of this conversation. I'm tired of the laundromat approach to what's going on in America. Like something happens, someone dies, or police brutality, whatever the case may be, and outrage Facebook. Everybody want to do something. Everybody pointing fingers, parents, city hall, governor, you name it. Everybody's to blame. We have our visuals, we have our marches, and then we go back to business as usual. That's why I'm disappointed, because I feel, and I said this to the brother that's taking the pictures right now, Big O, I don't want to be here because I don't think anything will happen after this conversation. But I will say I'm glad I did come here, because I'm learning. It's over 20 years of work been done before I even got here. And we just got to keep going, man. We just got to keep going. But I still feel disappointed in just what's going on here in America. So that's my 2 cents of my word. But I have other words that I feel. So, but disappointment is what I'm gonna rest with.
Absolutely. Our brother Anthony, you said, oh, I'm going to remember one of these. You said, all right, remind me.
3 words was hanging in
Oh,
there.
I should have been it. That's why I can't remember that one.
Yep.
So you said hanging in there. Give me the context of hanging in there.
Well, because I do feel very dedicated and very tired of and very disappointed with the fact that we have to continue this cycle of having these conversations. I'm hanging in there because I'm down. I'm downtrodden. I'll be honest. Like I'm down because I think, you know, in contrast to some of my brothers here at the table, my generation has grown up watching Black men be killed on the internet. And we were talking earlier about just kind of the violence that persists in our communities and amongst you know, some of the younger brothers. And I think that's because we've grown up in a generation where we've almost been desensitized to seeing Black men killed, being murdered. And so it's difficult to remain dedicated. It's difficult to remain kind of committed, because it's almost like we can never get out of this cycle. Like we're always fighting. And I'm going to go back to another killing of a Black man. My brother from the Migos.
Yes.
Offset. Takeoff. I don't know why I always mess them up. Takeoff. Yo, when I saw the kind of the graphic that they created after he was killed, and it said he was born in 1994, like I was shook for like a day, because that's the year that I was born. And I think about all of the success and all the things that he's done that he's achieved in his life, and he still was not able to kind of escape that fate that a lot of our Black brothers end up dealing with. And to me, it's hard to remain kind of encouraged. Is you just gotta hang in there, because even you know, after the Tyree Nichols situation, my fiance and I were just having a conversation, and I feel like this has actually been happening since we've been together and we've gotten engaged and started talking about having kids. Is like every time one of these situations happens, she's like less and less like, I want to have a child. Like she's extremely fearful to raise a Black child in this country. And so it's hard to remain kind of encouraged. It's hard to hang in there. But I also see brothers like this around this table who are doing great work in our community. I also do a lot of work with Black men in the community across the city of Boston. And so I know that there are brothers that care. I know that there are brothers that are dedicated. I know that there aren't enough of us, but I know that there are some there. And so I remain kind of encouraged, uplifted, and hanging in there, because I at least know I can be motivated. I can still lean on these brothers and know that there are some who actually care and are dedicated.
Thank you, Brother Anthony. Can we pass it to Brother Leroy? And I want to ask you to give us, when Brother D said real and you said hanging in there, you work a lot with these young men on the street. So all of you do. What if one of the brothers that were here, and we talk about real, we talk about tired, hanging in there, give us a purview of a brother that is in the midst. And now I'm talking more, you know, the feeling that they have no other choice but to shoot. Give us a purview of what they're dealing with right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they normally having no other choice but to shoot. Like one of my real smart guys called me the other day, and he was struggling, right? He was struggling. He's extremely smart. He understands this. Like, that's why we got to invite young people to the table. And the thing is, if we're not going to provide the bare basic necessities that they need, and the things that he was asking me for was just survival of life, like being able to eat, being able to get a job that is sustainable. He wants to work. He has some quick credentials, being able to have a secure roof over their head. Like when you don't know where you're going to sleep, right? Then you can't expect them to be able to maintain a job, because the basic bare necessities of being able to take a shower, get clean, wash, put their clothes on, right? So if we're gonna deal with them and we're trying to eradicate this and save the next generation, the resources have to be available to give them the basic, somewhere to sleep, something to eat, some opportunities, something to provide. Housing is the number one issue with any young person that.
So
I
it's
work
not
with.
jobs. It's not jobs, because it used to be everybody saying you give a young person, you give them a job, they're
It's
going to
not
be
a
okay.
job. It's like, how do you maintain the job when you don't know where you're sleeping at?
Yep.
Right. So if we at least for the population that I work with, if I was able to help them maintain, sustain, and secure housing, there's probably a 90% chance they'll be successful. Literally. So for me, it's that day-to-day struggle of trying to help them find out where they're going to stay, find a room, be able to help them pay for it. But we all, like, again, preaching to the choir, housing, no one's going to deny housing. Housing is an issue. And for me, it's the number one issue for any young person that I'm working with.
So would you say that a radical approach, we've seen radical approaches to mass and cast, we've seen radical approaches to a lot of different things. I am not aware, and never been in youth work, that there is intentionality around housing for men outside of reentry. If single fathers, whatever, I'm not aware that there is an intentionality for men in housing. And so would you say that that's something that is atypical, that we have to take a radical approach and be intentional about housing for men?
Yeah, I would love to be super intentional about it, because it's the number one issue. At least, again, for the population that we're describing, we're talking about. I know for a fact that these guys would work and they would maintain their jobs, but their day-to-day struggle and survival is, where am I sleeping tonight? Where am I going to go? And it's the biggest barrier that I've seen in our community. So my day-to-day is trying to figure out how to conquer that issue, because I know we'll have great success once we figure that part of it out.
One last question, and we'll give it to Brother Sean and come back around. The age group that you work with, we used to believe that if young people, you talked about 11 to 14, Brother D, but the age group, what's the age group that you're working with right now, or where there needs to be more concentration?
I mean, well, yeah, I'm all over the place. Like, I'm 5 to 40, but
wait.
Yeah.
5 to 40?
Yeah, my Mighty Might mentor group's amazing. But let me just tell you, so to answer the question, that for me, that Brother D spoke on this, 12 to 15 is the most vulnerable group right now.
So this is where we should be concentrating simultaneously.
Well, simultaneously, you work with them both, but 12 to 15 is struggling bad. They're struggling bad. They're going through a lot. They're going through identity crisis. Like, it really is, and if you pay attention to social media and you see them, no one's really teaching them consequences. They don't understand consequences. And it's like, when they do get arrested, to watch these kids cry uncontrollably, they had no concept of the consequence, because you're not going to have the firearm or the stolen car, knowing the chance of getting caught, are great. And then you get caught, and then you cannot stop crying, because you just couldn't fathom. You think it's the game. You think, okay, you get caught and now they let you out. So we have to get better at teaching and showing what a real consequence looks like, because again, they're kids and they don't understand that part. And the reason why I'm able to comfortably say that is because I watched you cry uncontrollably. And guys that are signed up for this, they're not crying like that. They're just like, oh, we got caught. And but
it is what it is.
This new generation of kids, they can't understand that part of it. So we just got to just do a lot more education, a lot more teaching, a lot more workshops and trainings, and and like really showing them the real consequences of their actions.
Got you. Brother Sean, you tend to presumably with BAM work with that sort of younger end group, but I know, and Diamond Educators was younger as well. And so in the schools and the preteens and the teens, that age group, what are you finding as far as their reaction to what's going on, and speak to it from a mental health standpoint? And then we're going to come to Brother D and Brother Q.
I'm glad that you mentioned the mental health, because that
Oh,
was
no, that's the part I'm going to get that to Q and D too. It's coming. Yeah.
We absolutely need to talk about, and I think that falls right in line when Brother D talks about the 5 to 40. Because it's not just the young people, it's also, those in the 40. And I'll speak just from a personal experience. I think about all the trauma that I've dealt with in my life, and how I didn't deal with that until I was in my 40s. I masked
that part
and wore a mask, and said that I was okay. That I didn't need therapy, that I wasn't crazy, and things of that nature. So not having a father figure in my life, wasn't realized or didn't realize how that impacted me. What places and areas in my life was that showing up? Losing my brother to gang violence, never grieving around that situation, because I was just going on about life as normal and things of that nature. So for me, it wasn't until I was in my 40s that I went on this. And you hear me talk about this all the time, Jimmy, is what it really takes is a ruthless self-examination. And that's, that's what we really need to talk about. We've all heard the saying, hurt people hurt people.
Yep.
And there's a lot of hurt people that have been charged with healing and dealing with our young people, those young people from 5 to, whatever that range is from the population that we're talking about, and they haven't even done their work yet. So how are you going to help me or help someone else if you haven't helped yourself? And that's part of it. And until we're ready for that conversation, we're going to continue to be in this cycle that we're in. And again, I was guilty of that. And it wasn't until that experience that I realized how that was impacting my relationship with my wife. You heard me say I was with my wife for 31 years. And my wife used to say to me, you need counseling. She knew all the things that I've went through. I'm like, I'm not crazy. I don't need counseling. And when I finally, went through that weekend and got counseling, it was one of the best experiences in my life for me. The first person I had to come back and have a conversation with was with my wife and say to her that I'm sorry, I get it. And not realizing the pain that I was causing only hurt. I tell people all the time, I've been in my kids' life, their entire life, and I didn't realize how my stuff was impacting my kids, especially my oldest son, Sean Jr. When I did my weekend, and when I speak about a weekend, it's going on a 3-day retreat, removing yourself from everything. It's a rites of passage, and you're dealing with nothing. You have nothing, and you're stripped of everything, and you're doing that work. You're dealing with all those traumas and that baggage, and you learn that it's called your shadow, and you learn how to deal with your shadow and keep it in front of you. What's most important is acknowledging that shadow, but keeping it in front of you so it doesn't trip you up. And that's the problem. A lot of us doesn't acknowledge or don't acknowledge that and have a problem when that mirror is held up to them, and they got to look at their BS. So for me, that was what that weekend was about. And after I did that weekend, after my wife saw the change in me, other people saw it. She always said, you're this amazing mentor, you're this amazing provider, but you can be a better husband. And I was like, I just didn't know what that meant. And she would say to me, she's my best friend, but I wasn't connected to that. And it was because of how I was raised, like my and I'm like, Brother D, I don't want to hog the mic, right? But not having a positive male figure in my life, I looked to the wrong male figures as role models. And that's what led me to being involved in a lot of negativity that society has to offer a young man who has no proper guidance. So for me, my mentor came into my life, and I'm going to name him here, is Ed Powell. Ed Powell was the first Black man that I saw in a suit and tie that I respected. Prior to that, any Black man that I saw in a suit and tie I thought was a square.
Or a sellout.
A square.
Yeah.
Let's keep it. It wasn't who I aspired to be. But he was the first Black man that showed me what it meant to be a professional, what it meant to be a husband. So starting to do that at that point, when he gave me an opportunity, he gave me vision. He believed in me when a lot of people gave up on me. And I would always tell Ed that I owe him for helping me become the man that I am today. And his thing is, you owe me nothing. Do what I did for you for someone else. And that's how Diamond Educators was founded. Diamond Educators was founded out of, what do I do and how do I give back? And Jim, you said, we were serving young people, but we were also serving that 1% that a lot of people weren't mentioned. Like, so
that's
I was
right.
The 1% who were either victims or perpetrators of this violence. We were doing that work. We were part of. And to speak to what Brother D was saying is being able to have that ability to go on whatever corner, whatever block, and have that conversation with that young man or young person, and they can respect that. the first thing that needs to happen, it's not about judging them, but it's about hearing them and just listening. What are you going through? So when that question was posed to, Leroy, around what do you say, with this young person, you don't say anything. You listen, you talk, and you have the conversation and figure out what's going on with them. And then from there, you try to, work together to support them in that. But that's where we also fall short, is when we start, trying to develop these programs and model for young people and not have them at the table. As Leroy said, for me, I always say my call of action is not just enough for our young people to be beneficiaries of that program, but they should be at the table. They should be part of the policies and decisions we're making and be in the room, because we continue to have these conversations, but there's no young person in this room. What there's going to be focus groups. Let's get young people. But to what Leroy said, we need to break down the silos, come together. This is not about no one person or individual organization does this work alone. We need to be intentional in breaking down those silos and working together. And I'll end on this. I always say collaborative effort. Collective collaboration plus collective effort equals collective impact. And Ed would always say, if you can't do a whole lot, then do a whole little. And before you know it, we move mountains. So that's what this is really about. But the mental health is key. And that's what we do at BAM. It's about creating safe spaces for young men to show up and as their authentic self and show vulnerability, be able to deal with their emotions and validate that. So King, I want to say to you, you said you were down. Your downness or your sadness is welcome here, and we don't say that enough. We make young men feel shame because they're showing that vulnerability. So I want to affirm you, King, for speaking that truth and saying that's how you feel, because we need to model that. Our young people need to see that. I tell people I've cried more in the past 5 years than I have in my entire life, because I'm okay with who I am as a man. I've dealt with that work, and I'm not ashamed. So I'll put a pin in it there, but I appreciate this space, Jimmy. I just want to affirm you, King. What I do believe is we need more. I did see something online around, it's the same people. And I agree. We need to get away from it being the same people at this table, and getting people who haven't, been at the table. But if they're not willing to do their work and do that ruthless self-examination, we also need to, hold folks accountable for that, because it's not enough just to be at the table.
Just a little park right there real quick. And I'm going to give it to Brother D. Just a couple of points of clarity. One, tonight is sort of a soft launch of this Black Men's Wellness Project that I'll be launching in the spring. And so this is a series. I saw that comment as well. Domingo, this is going to be a series.
Domingo's my
and
guy.
I know. And so he's probably on here trolling or watching. We're going to come back and watch later. I love you, Domingo. But
how I feel about you, King.
Absolutely. Brother Sean, we're going to give it to Brother D. And I want to continue sort of the piece of, we definitely were going to talk about mental health, and Brother Q's probably going to close us out or put the gravy on where Brother D is. But how important is it for brothers to handle their shit? I've often heard you reference to brothers putting the battery packs and stuff into the younger brothers and whatnot. Can we talk about the village and how we need to handle our stuff in order not to pass this trauma down to our sons and our daughters?
Absolutely. Brother Sean just says something, man, that was extremely heavy. And it definitely did not bypass me, because I was Elisha's 5. So that means he was born 5 years ago. I'm about to be 50. I was 45, in all due honesty, when the light came on. You understand?
So can I just park right there for anybody's listening?
Yes, sir.
To brothers that are in their 20s, brother D is on, Brother Bonds is on, and whatnot. Y'all that are in your 20s and 30s, please note that I've heard 3 people say tonight that they didn't get it together until they was in their 40s.
Yes.
So we just need to name that, because I think a lot of times we beat ourselves up. But Brother D, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So listen, when Elisha turned 2,
he sounded like he about to preach when he said when Elisha.
When Elisha turned 2, Takari, my middle son, was at the house, and Xavier, my oldest son, were at the house. So I had them both in the living room. And I sat them down, and I said, "Hey, man, I just want to tell y'all I'm sorry." They was like, "Yo, for what, Pops?" And I said, "You might see me do a lot more with Elisha that I didn't do with you. You may find me there for him more than I was for you. But it's not because I love you less and love him more. I didn't know how to be a father. So if there's a mistake to make, hey, bruh, I made it times 10. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't know how to co-parent. I didn't know how to plant. I didn't know a damn thing in regards to child rearing. And I damn sure didn't know how to raise them young boys. It took me time to figure it out. You understand? Trials and tribulations. It took practice, right? It took me failing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so at 45, this youngster's born, and guess what happened? I had to get on my hands and knees and pray to the Most High God and say, dude, what am I supposed to do, man? Because I can't keep on going like I'm going. So when I apologized to my sons, they both said to me, nah, Dad, we love you. It's all good. But I had to look at them and say, no, it's not. Except me telling you that I did you a disservice. So when we talk about owning our shit, sometimes the man got to turn around to look at his son and or his daughter and say, hey, yo, I failed you for a period of time and I'm sorry. And I'm in a better place today, so I want to be better and do better, right? But sometimes, man, we get lost in the sauce.
What do you
right?
go a little bit deeper there? What do you mean
So
by
when
lost
I
in the
say
sauce?
you get lost in the sauce, it's like this. The degree don't make the man make the degree.
Absolutely.
Right? So I'm a college grad. I'm a business owner. So to the outside looking in, somebody might say, Brother D got his shit together. But you know how many times I done fell on my knees and crying and asking God for strength? How many years when I opened the restaurant, I'm underwater with a 100-pound weight on both ankles? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
To the point where I gotta go get counseling, bro. What? Let me go talk to somebody. But often at times it's that taboo thing, right? I don't need no nah, I need to talk to somebody. I need to talk to somebody who's gonna be real with me, not a yes person. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
Someone gonna tell you that, listen, the bottom of your foot really smell funky, homie. Right? So owning our stuff that's what it means to man up. You see, oftentimes we got it mixed up, right? We got it mixed up. They say, yo, man up. Man up don't mean don't cry. Man up mean go ahead, it's okay. You can cry today. Man up means when you've done something wrong, man, you got to eat that, bruh. You got to eat that. Manning up is when you're driving down the street and you see a sister getting a dog shit smacked out of her, that you stop your car and get out. Nah, black man, not today, bruh. That's manning up.
Yes, sir.
That's owning our stuff, right? When we absolutely positively know, we ain't doing enough. Do enough. Brother Bump said we ain't asking for 24 hours, right? But last I checked, I know we bare minimum. I know we got a few thousand brothers in the city of Boston. If everybody dedicated 1 hour, just 1 hour on one day, just one. Brothers talked about the rites of passage. Listen, man, I'm going to throw a challenge out to everybody on Facebook that's listening in the city of Boston, right? And I don't give two damn cents what organization you represent, which one you might be starting, who you might work for. I would really love for some brothers to get together via a Zoom call or whatever. Let's start figuring out a rites of passage that we could take not just the young men through, but the grown men too. You understand? We as grown men need a rites of passage,
I mean,
bro.
it's evident that 3 of you all named it in the 40s. And I'll be very honest, I'm just like at 51 where I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? To really settle into. So that we do need that. We do need that sort of iron sharpening iron from generation. And Quincy, we coming. I see you over there itching.
But listen, right? It's not a mistake. It's not a mistake that they've assassinated all our leaders before they hit 40, brother. A man don't come into his own until he's 40.
That's that number of 40. If you look, Jesus Lord, I'm trying to production and all that. If you look at Moses, you look 40 days in the wilderness. 40 is the number of change.
Yes.
And sorry.
You understand? So if you're not coming in your own, you don't come into your own until you're 40. You dig? Mm-hmm. That means there's so many trials and tribulations and things going on in between it. But also, too, I just want to wind back just a little bit, and then I'm going to pass it, which is this. We can't lose hope, though. Sure. You understand? And what I mean by that is you can forget. I want everybody to understand something. And this is real. In less than 150 years, the black woman and the black man in the United Snakes of America, KKKF.
Did you say the night of who?
The black man and the black woman, the United Snakes of America, KKKF. In less than 150 years, bro, we done caught up on everybody. And that's after over 400 years of slavery. You understand what I'm saying? So I just want everybody to understand something. Regardless of what we going through, hold on, man, we done came a long way in a short amount of time. You understand? Yes, so we also need to appreciate what we are doing, what we are good at, the amount of love that we do have. You understand? And we just got to figure out how to magnify it, how to spread it. When you see your son, how to look at your, I love you, brother. How you see a stranger, peace, black man, I love you, brother. Hey, sister, I love you, queen. Saying you love somebody, and it could be genuine. Peep game, I might not know that woman, but she a child
They're
of God,
human.
so
They're
I love you.
Yep.
Right? So I love you. Darkness can't exist where there is light. The light can be our love, man. Our babies are absent of love. Our community is absent of true spirituality. You understand what I'm saying? So we need love and spirituality, because that will give us our norms and our mores that sustain us. Lastly, I'm going to say this. Housing, Brother Bum. I can't leave without saying this one. I got the preacher mic right now, but I'm going to stop. The housing thing is this piece, though, right? Keep in mind, if a young person gets caught up on a drug offense and he lives in BHA, he can't live there no more. Yeah. Gun charge, can't live there no more. So the young man might get locked up, go and do his time, but when he come back, there's a stay away order. There's a no trespass. So what he's supposed to do? He begins to couch surf, right? So you get a whole bunch of cats couch surfing together, there's going to be a problem, right? Then if there's no place to couch surf because everyone is couch surfing, now where they at? In the streets. You tell me a person, man, woman, or child, no roof over their head, no food in their stomach, barely got clothes on your back, what the hell you going to do in the midst of winter?
Hey. The word,
our brother Quincy, there's so much that I know. We talked about mental health. We talked about being real. And I'm going to ask you all to get your closing remarks.
About consequences for action.
Consequences. So, Brother Quincy, can you give us just a little, give us a little synopsis and your thoughts as well.
Leroy's point about consequences of actions, because when I was teaching at Jeremiah E. Burke, that was the most frustrating thing, because a young person would do something and you try to talk to them, discipline them, and then upper management or, the administration would be like, just give them 1 day suspension. I'm like, there's no consequence. You're sending them home when parents are probably not at home and we don't know what they're doing. And then they come back and there's no talk. It's nothing. It's no consequences. So I wanted to highlight that and just add emotional intelligence. A lot of these young folks and adults don't have emotional intelligence. So when someone like Brother Leroy was talking about earlier offline, if someone steps on your shoe, then you think you have no choice but to kill them, harm them, or whatever, when it's like, bro, that might have been a mistake type of thing. So emotional intelligence. And then I want to get into mental health, because, that's my baby. I've been in therapy since I was 13.
And how old are you now?
I'm 41 years young. So I've been in therapy.
28. Okay. I had to get the math right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a mathematician. So, but no, I've been in therapy since 13 because of my parents being military folks. So it was accessible for me. Yep. And that's what's missing. Like I agree with Brother Sean. Therapy is the key, but it's not accessible to these young folks. It's not accessible to a lot of people. So one, we got to be real about the accessibility of therapy, mental health. Even 5 years ago, just going back into like healing myself, depression. And I'm helping folks going back to, I didn't even help myself. I'm telling everyone else to sign up for therapy, and I'm depressed. I have anxiety, all this other stuff, taking medication, but I wasn't healing myself. So back to that point, we got to take care of ourselves, because we won't be any good. We might put a good event together and 100 people show up and you get your kudos and you're the new mental health expert, but I was dying inside. So I want to talk about a little more about love, because that's my thing, like lead with love. And I say that not as just like cliche. I struggle with anger management issues, and that's why I really started therapy. Hit somebody over the head with a bottle, tried to drown my cousin, my little gay cousin, because I was struggling with my sexuality. And my parents put me in therapy because I had anger issues. So if that happened, I probably would not be in Boston. I would still be in North Carolina, Henderson, North Carolina, or Durham, North Carolina, gang banging and doing everything that my cousins are out there doing right now. So love, we got to lead with love. We got to teach people love, because if you love your brother, you're not going to harm him. And if you really love your brother, and me and Jimmy, we disagree with a lot of stuff. We get in arguments and stuff, but I love him so much. I don't want to harm him. I get.
Well, swing on me. What you saying,
No,
bro?
I don't want to swing on you, but I want to like give you the cold shoulder sometimes. But I don't dislike anybody that much to cause bodily harm or want to see them dead 6 feet under. So I'll just end with leading with love. And I also want to talk about like parents, because Sean touched on something that just hit home, and I didn't think it was gonna make me emotional, and y'all gave me the permission to have emotions. That's another thing we need to allow our young people to do, to have emotions. So my father, mother and father together, like I didn't have that story of my dad wasn't there and all. My dad was very much there. He bought me everything I wanted, gave me all the things, but he did not equip me for the real world. Like he didn't teach me the streets. I learned that from my uncles, the drug dealers on the corner, and my dad did not keep me away from them because he was so busy doing God knows what else. So parents, if you're listening, providing your kids with Jordans, Yeezys, and PlayStations, that's great. But if you're not sitting down like Brother Sean and Brother Leroy talking, and Brother Darnell talking to your children about your shit, it's not going to move the needle. So I'll park it there and let Brother Anthony, because I can go on for days. But no, I appreciate y'all.
We're gonna get ready to wrap up. And Anthony, I would and Pops is on as well. He agreed with you about owning it. Pops, Anthony shares his dad with me a little bit. Pops. He shares his dad with me a little bit, even though I've been a little prodigal son these last couple of months. But Anthony, as we get ready to go into closing remarks, I'm going to do something very different. You can make a closing remark, but I'm going to ask you to randomly pick any brother here and affirm them. Even one you may not know, an impression tonight. Pick any brother here and affirm them right after your closing remark.
Yeah. So just in closing, I'm actually I turned 29 in 19 days on the 21st of February. And I don't think that you didn't know that. And just being in this space has really affirmed me, but also challenged me. We ended up on mental health, so I got to stay there. I got to stay there because, 6 years ago, 2017, I had just really started getting into my professional field. Was in a relationship at the time, went through a really bad breakup. My parents actually separated at the time, and then at work, I was overwhelmed. And I went into like a really dark place, and considered hurting myself, considered committing some type of harm to myself. And 6 years later, I still have never dealt with that moment and all of the things that also went on around that. And just sitting here in this space, it's like, yo, like you need to go deal with your shit. And so I want to affirm all of you brothers, actually, which I didn't even know that you were going to ask me that. I didn't know you were going to ask me to do that, but that was always my plan to close, was just like affirming all of you all, and also saying, I know we need more spaces like this because, for me as someone who's 28, about to be 29, like I learned so much just being in this room and being able to sit across from you brothers and listen to you tell your stories in life. And I just feel like I know that there's a bunch of other brothers who would just benefit from being able to be in spaces like this. So I know like that's just one challenge for me. I know for all of us is just continuing to think about how do we create more space, but then bring more people into this space, to your point earlier. So yeah, I'll close on that.
We're going to take it back to brother. I'm again doing production. We're going to take it to brother Bum, because brother Leroy, because it's easy to just get him queued up on the camera here. So brother Leroy, if you can, Quincy, keep still. Don't. Okay, stay right there. Don't move. Because you're in the shop. Move the other way. All right, stay there. Don't move. All right. So, all right. He said the church rock. All right. Our brother Leroy. Closing remarks, and then and you got away with affirming everybody, but affirm one of the brothers here as well.
I mean, my closing first. Let me just thank you, brother. Like I really appreciate you for the opportunity, and what you're doing, and please keep going, right, and keep going. And I challenge you to
wait, hold on.
I'm saying, I challenge you to invite young people.
This is absolutely.
Invite young people and hear them out, right? And like really hear them out. You know what I mean? Because they're brilliant.
Will you help me get a couple of brothers here? That real. I want some.
No, without
weed reeking had to leave there outside and come in and
I feel like if we listen to them, it'll better help us map out what we need to do for the city. Like it's just mind-boggling to me when people try to create programming and things for young people and they're not a part of their own, like you know what I mean? Like they need to be in part of, hear them out, listen to them, and then let's just meet them where they're at, because what they're asking for is basic. They're not asking for nothing that's astronomical. They're asking for things that we can pretty much close our eyes and just get it done for them. So again, just really wanted to shout you out for that. Appreciate and highlight the moments that we talk about parents, right? It's not, because we're not, and there's no and never will be no attack on parents, because I do believe that, and I had both parents in the household with two brothers and a sister, and they did pretty well. Like they didn't get caught with the street situation, but I know how I got caught, but I also know how I got out, right? And that's something that college is not going to teach you that, right? So when you have that level of knowledge of understanding how you got brought in and how you got out, you're obligated for the rest of your life to teach that to young people. So that's the mission. And I can't pull out one brother here, because I learned from everybody here tonight. So yes, I gotta affirm the table.
Y'all, Anthony. Our brother Sean.
Wow. Oh man, this is tough, right?
Yes, with you, brother.
Now, I got a firm A, right, Young King, because this is why I do the work. And you touched something in me when you spoke about being connected to everything that's going on here. And for me, I was telling Brother Donnell, when we talk about rites of passage and men's work, one of the reasons why we sit in a circle, with even in rites of passage or with BAM, is because that signifies no one man is bigger than the circle, and in this space, and we're all. And then when one man does his work, another man is doing his. So the fact that we were sitting here and showing up as our authentic self, King, you connected to that. And that's what this work is about. That's what we need to pass on to our young people, be able to be in them spaces with them and have them connect to the work and then feel comfortable and sharing and coming out. So I want to affirm you for your vulnerability. Like for me, I was ashamed to say that I suffered from anxiety. I didn't know what that was. And once it was named for me, there was a point of time where I thought I thought I was going crazy. After I came from this weekend, I just started being in tune with a whole bunch of emotions, and I didn't know what was happening with me. And my wife was like, you should talk to someone. And then I went and talked to, my mentor, and shared what I was going through. And he said, you'll be surprised. Some of the brightest people in the rooms that you're in are going through the same thing. You're not alone.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, go talk to this person. And when I went and talked to that person, they shared some stuff that they went through. So again, that's why I'm not ashamed to share my story. I'm not ashamed, ashamed to, have tears in my eyes when I'm talking to you, Young King, because that's what it's about. So I want to affirm you, I've watched you and I've admired you from afar, King, and we need young brothers like you to continue to pass that torch. I remember when I was running Diamond Educators, one of the reasons why we had 3-tiered mentoring, the Diamond Educators mentoring high school students and then the high school students mentoring elementary students, because to those elementary students, we were old, meaning the mentors, but they were looking up to those high school students. That was going to be the next place for them. So that's you, King. You're carrying that torch. You're going to be the one who's, going to be able to relate to, your generation and generation under you. So, it's an honor to be in your presence, King. And anything that you need from me, don't hesitate to pick up that phone. And I want to say just to this group, I love you, black man. We don't hear that. We don't hear that enough.
Absolutely.
And with that,
Our brother D is going to get ready to take us. Brother Quincy is going to be the final closing. Let me just get queued up here to get our brother D on. And this image, I think, is just so amazing. Of you all are going to see it in a second, but brother D rocking his 5-year-old son in his arm like that. It's just, brother D, your closing remarks and any affirmations you want to do as well.
Chicken is good, but God is great.
Wait, I thought now this is going to end up being deep, but that was not what I was like, wait, what?
Chicken is good, but God is great. Got a 5-year-old in my lap.
Yes, sir.
If he ain't straight, I'm gonna come and haunt you. I told some young brothers last week at the Greatest Minds. I was speaking with some young people with my big brother Chip, one of my mentors, and I was speaking with some elementary school students, and I said, and he was with me, this is my guy, and I told them, I'm expecting you to make sure he's straight, because I'm gonna be gone. You understand? So the beautiful thing about tonight, and you're gonna be here a little longer too, because you got some years left too. So I'm looking and I'm saying, nah, bro, yeah. And this 5-year-old, he's not gonna forget this, because when I go home, he's gonna ask me a million questions. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what's so beautiful about it. And now watch this. I'm gonna go a whole nother level that ain't nobody ready for.
Oh, Jesus.
Ain't nobody ready for this. We as a people are not a monolith.
Oh, yes, sir. Sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
Brother James, I appreciate you, King.
Yes, sir.
Right? Someone said to me, Brother D, you gonna go on James' show? I said, yeah. Talk to James almost every day. He's a homosexual, right? And I said, yeah, I know. Yo, Brother D, you going for real? The reason I say that is this, right? There was decades, man. Decades. I'm going to call a spade a spade. There was decades. I wouldn't have came to this table. I wouldn't have looked you in your eye and said, what's up, King? There wasn't no way in hell. Wasn't no way in hell. I was looking at James saying, what's up, King? But it took one brother, man, who I loved to the end of time. And when I found out that the brother was a homosexual, he said, D, how was I supposed to tell you, man? You might have punched me in the mouth and blah, 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 blah. But I couldn't deny this man's commitment to his people, to his community, and to everything. And I looked at him, I said, bro, I still love you, man. You're still my guy. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't think I've ever had a moment to express anything like this anywhere. So I'm going to express this damn thing tonight.
Come on, sir.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You dig? We as a people walk in many lanes, man. You dig what I'm saying? And we as a people have isms and schisms in our own community. The hell with the outside community. We got classism. We got colorism. You understand what I'm saying? We got socialism, culturalism in our own communities. So tonight I'm going to say this, man. God brought us together.
Yes, sir.
God said tonight we're going to have a round table. There's going to be people at this round table that are all from the motherland, but we in different lanes, right? We think similar in a lot of aspects, but guess what? We think different too. And guess what? That's all right, man. That's all right. One solution ain't going to fix all of this. It's going to take all of us together to solve the problems of our people. Starts with some love, starts with some spirituality, and it starts with some young brothers such as yourself understanding, bro. I will haunt you to the end of time if you don't make sure this little dude got a community that's safe to play in. You understand what I'm saying? I want him to be able to look, man, at you and say, hey, man, I appreciate the internship you got.
Yes, sir.
And then y'all gonna know I'm up in there. I'm up in heaven as a guardian angel. So if anything funky happen, you know, we can handle that too. And I would definitely, man, I gotta affirm every brother in this room. I gotta affirm my cameraman taking those great photos.
Brother Obi.
You know, and also too, I'm sorry, one last thing. Hey, listen, if anyone and everyone that's listening, please pray for our brother, mentor, healer, Brother Rodney Daly, who is in hospice right now. And if you don't know, there would be no gang intervention work in this town without Brother Rodney Daly. Understand that?
Yes, sir.
I wouldn't know workforce development if it wasn't for Brother Rodney Daly, because I sat at that man's feet with a notebook and said, brother, please pour into me. Yeah. And I took his blueprint, added some food for the soul seasoning on it. You understand? So please pray for our brother. Pray for our brother.
Absolutely. Brother Quincy, you're going to get ready to
close us out
and do the
benediction.
last
The benediction.
benediction.
So in the same vein as everyone else, I want to affirm all of us. But listening to Brother Donnell, and I wasn't going to say this, but I want to single Sean out because I've known you for 2 years, and everybody knows I'm gay, openly gay. Openly gay. Me and my husband, we've done a lot of work in Boston, goes unrecognized. We just do the work because we have to do it. That's like somebody has to do this work. And when I met Sean, I was like, he's going to be like everybody else. As soon as he finds out I'm gay, he ain't working with me. But we never really talked about the sexuality or anything. He just came up to me. What's up, King? You good? You good? I'm like, this is different. This is weird, but it's different. And for the last 2 years, every time he sees me, he speaks to me in public. He affirms me in public in front of everyone. So he has given other people a pass and permission to engage with people that are different from themselves. So I want to affirm you, brother. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you, Thaddeus, Conan, Brother Billy over here, Uncle Billy over here,
Jesus, here
and so many other men that are fully straight, ain't nothing gay about them, but they kick it with me. They affirm me in public, and you don't know how important that is to me to keep going, keep coming out to these events, not standing in the corner, to approach other people and talk to them. So I want to affirm everyone. And Anthony, you know, bro, as everyone has said, I'm a little older than you, but you got to pass the torch, and anything you need, you know how to find me. That mental health thing, we got to get you connected. Pure Spark, shout out Aisha. We gonna definitely get you the mental health support. And I want to end with this. I'm gonna charge Jimmy with this, but yeah, and I know this is gonna be a series, but we need to do, and I talked to Brother Frank about this as well, who's also another person that supports me in public, not behind closed doors. We need a conference, we need a summit, a black men's summit, so we can sit down without the cameras and talk about this shit. So I'm going to charge you, Frank, and everybody else that's doing this work, because I'm in a different lane, as I'm doing something else, but I'm a part of this tribe. So I want to see us come together. The rites of passage, if we taking trips to Maine and just putting it all out there, whatever it takes, I need that to happen like this year. I'm not talking about 2 years from now. Summertime's coming. We know how it gets when summertime comes. Let's grab some of these young men and let's take them somewhere with a clinician and let's talk about our problems, our issues. So I will end with lead with love. If you're watching, listening, just make sure that you take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you cannot take care of anyone else properly. So Love you, James. Keep doing what you're doing. And again, I didn't want to be here, but I'm so glad I came. Thank you.
He's like said that like a couple of times. So I'm like, it's over now. So I don't know whether to feel some sort of way about that. But I just really, yes, sir. In my closing remarks, I just want to say to all of you, thanks for tuning in this evening. Thanks to my guests, Brother Anthony, Brother Quincy, Brother D, Brother Sean, Brother Leroy, aka Bum. Thank all of you for being here this evening. This will be a series. Brother D, I need to check with you and see if we can do something on the 16th here at Food for the Soul. Please come and support this Black-owned business. Great food. I didn't eat before the show, but when I get home, it's a different thing. So thank all of you for tuning in tonight. Please tag a man, share this with a man. And at some point, we're going to have a conversation from a man's perspective and talking to the sisters. And so, hold on. Did y'all? Yo, brothers went in. They was like, we got it in like 5-part harmony. But thank for all of you for tuning in today. Tag a brother and share this with some sisters as well. And also, especially single moms that are raising kings, share this as well. And we're going to do some different type of topics for you all as well. And Quincy, the Black Men's Wellness Project, will partner with Frank or whomever, and we'll figure out this Black Men's Wellness Summit, something like that. And shout out to Dee Dee's Cry and others that are doing this, our sisters, but we need to step up and lead as Black men as well.
So violence coming soon.
Oh, the heal.
Jimmy with Java after dark.
and also, don't forget, the healing tour is coming, and we'll be telling you all more about that later. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you all, and peace. So, everybody, that was a conversation we had. The motive initially was to share excerpts from Leroy Peoples, his comments there. But seeing what's going on globally in our community against our Blackness, and then men, and then Black men specifically. I played the whole thing because a lot of us are dealing with emotions around Leroy, Reginald St. Bryce, Brother Wiley, and also Bob Terrell, and it's real. And again, as I started saying at the beginning of the show, particularly a group of brothers from this city that are dealing with what I would say dual and even more, but the density of Brother St. Bryce and also excuse me, Bum as well. I had to show that whole episode again to honor him. But if you listen to him and Brother D and others, but in the space of honoring Brother Bum, if you listen to him and what he was saying, and part of the reason for the original idea of showing excerpts from that was in 2023. And for those of you that watched this morning, not much of his language changed from what I shared this morning from 21 to 23. And so he did additionally, like Nika did this morning, and challenged us as Black men to step up. And so a lot of us in many ways through the years have dedicated our lives either through direct service, either through supervising those in direct service, for those that then went into policy, and then for those, and I'll say for myself now with this platform, and still understanding its influence and what it's able to do when the camera's off. The dedication and commitment that Bum often talked about in this space to me has been renewed. And I can tell that his transition has even impacted me because I'm triggered. And in some of the correspondence I've had with some people, even as to how this man will be honored in this city, led by, signed off by his wife and family, first and foremost. And he was well and is well connected to to a lot of influential people in this city, in this state. And as long as she and they say that folks can tap into our influence and resources and aren't, my point is, my commitment and dedication in this space to get the numbers even lower is renewed. And what I was getting ready to say a few minutes ago, and I'll end with this. The time before last that I saw Bum, 36, 48 hours before, I was at an event. And at this event was somebody that at the time, things are cool now, but at the time I had great issues with in the space of violence prevention. Found out it was going to be there. And so I stood outside and waited for them to come. And as I was waiting for them to arrive, Bum pulled up. And he walked up to me and really didn't say much, but all he said to me was, "What's up with your energy?" I don't even think he said, "What's up?" He just looked at me and, "What's up with your energy?" And I blatantly told him where that energy came from and who it was directed towards. And he said, "I get it, but that's not you." And a few minutes ago, before I went live, no, actually I'm lying. While this was playing in the background, I had this thought. As much as he influenced behavior of our young people in all that attitude and stuff, 53 years old, and Bum's like, "What's up with your energy?" There's a lot more I can say around his personal influence on the work, but he had influence on me. And there were times, if you watch this morning in this, where he was a real dude. And so he's not going to front. And those affirmations will forever be remembered. And so to Bum, as we get ready to honor you, and we'll do it. Thank you for your example and your commitment and dedication to this city and to this family. Thank you for loaning him to us, and know that his legacy will forever have an impact on this city. The numbers to which the electeds and the officials and those that are currently leading in this space, none of them can take any credit without acknowledging your decade plus commitment and dedication to the young people of this city. And so salute to you, sir. And we honor you. You all have a great day. And today's Monday. We'll see you back tomorrow at 10 a.m.